Most comedians build the joke by escalating. Bigger reaction, bigger voice, bigger face. Atkinson does the opposite. He treats the most ridiculous idea in the room with total, almost clinical seriousness, and lets the gap between his delivery and the content do the work.
I did from
Well,
Does he look like an even bigger knob if he said, oh, well, of course you all know Mr. Bean's holiday? You know,
yeah, exactly.
so it's
I'm trying to reduce my knob quotient.
Do you remember that night?
Yes, I certainly remember the night. It was a one-off. It was a one-night review, and I was asked if I wanted to do something, and I couldn't think of anything, and just stood in front of a mirror, to be honest, and I just started pulling faces, I mean, for want of a better term. And I just sort of, was doing this... And then there was this idea of having a card. Have you got anything that I could... Hey, man, I'm just going to... Anyway, it was something like that.
You can hear it in the way he talks about words like airbag or petrol pump, like they're technical vocabulary worth studying. You can see it in an F1 grid walk, where a chaotic, over-caffeinated broadcast segment runs headfirst into a man who simply won't perform. He answers questions politely, deadpan, like he's being interviewed for a documentary about lawnmowers.
That's right, yeah, he had some magnificent cars, didn't he?
Cars, and, then he'd enjoy it. But anyway, it's fantastic to be here. I'm a guest of George Russell, which is, it wasn't planned for me to be here on a weekend, when he got pole, but here we are.
Rowan Atkinson name-dropping, whatever next.
I know. I'm here as a matter of fact, as a guest of George Russell. So
Oh, fantastic.
So that's how...
The reporter is doing 10 jobs at once, hyping the crowd, filling time, steering the segment. Atkinson is doing one job, being completely, sincerely present in a moment that everyone else has agreed to treat as noise. That mismatch is the joke. Nobody wrote it. It just happens when you put a genuinely calm person inside genuine chaos.
What I find most tricky is when people don't recognise you particularly, but half recognise you. It's that strange thing where they go... I'd rather just, hold up a flag saying yes. A few years ago, there was, I was in a Land Rover parts department near Peterborough, the kind of place you find me on most Saturdays. And I could see this guy doing that. And he came up to me after a while and he said, "Excuse me, has anyone ever told you that you're the absolute spitting image of that Mr. Bean?" I said, "Well, actually, I am the actor who plays Mr. Bean." And he said, "I bet you wish you were." And there followed this bizarre conversation in which the more I tried to claim that I was the person whom he thought I merely resembled, the less he believed me. But what was funny was how close he thought I was to he said the resemblance is uncanny.
Here's something that should bother anyone who's ever tried to build a character on purpose. Mr. Bean wasn't designed. Atkinson has described just standing in front of a mirror, pulling faces, more or less experimenting with his own reflection until something stuck. There was no writer's room moment where someone said, "What if he's silent and slightly monstrous?" It came from Atkinson literally watching himself be strange.
Thank you. This side or this side?
Right, how do you want to sit down?
No. I'll get behind you.
I see, I just sit here and
You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Coming up on Sunrise this morning, we meet the lovely Mr. Rowan Atkinson. We talk about Mr. Bean's holiday, and all you have to say is, if you miss it, you miss out. Simple as that. You ready?
Right, okay.
I'm good at this.
Good, okay. Interesting.
Morning, Neil Sean here on Sunrise. A man who needs no introduction, Mr. Rowan Atkinson, and we talk about Mr. Bean's holiday. Remember though, Rowan?
Sorry?
If you miss it, you miss out.
Do you mind doing that again?
Yeah, okay. Morning, Neil Sean here on Sunrise. This morning we meet Mr. Rowan Atkinson and we talk all about Mr. Bean's holiday. Remember though, Rowan?
decided that Bob could be a funny word.
Right.
Now, how do you do that?
Well, it just seemed, yeah, it was always at the end of the sentence. It was, so how can I help you, Bob? And it just seemed like a funny way of saying it, Bob.
Because I was looking at lists of motoring words the other day and wondering if you could just by saying them, make them funny. Just say the word.
Airbag. De Dion Bouton. Petrol pump.
I have to think of all sorts of things to say about a car. Now, I know that if you were a presenter on this show, you could just do it with an expression.
Right.
So, for example, if you were presented with McLaren F1, think of another one. The imperiousness one gets from a Range Rover.
Ah, right, okay.
And the character's actual birthplace is even less glamorous than that. Atkinson has traced the idea back to a holiday in Venice in the mid-1980s, where he noticed something odd about musicians. They assume their audience is the whole world. Comedians, by contrast, usually assume their audience is just their own country, their own language, their own sense of humor. He wondered what would happen if a comic character worked the way a piece of music does, understandable anywhere because it depends on nothing but a face and a body, not a single word of dialogue.
Holiday in Venice that I had in 1985, quite a long time ago. And I just remember noticing all the musical artists who were popular at the time, and I thought how odd that musicians generally assume they have an international audience.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do comedy, you assume you've just got your country and your kind of people who are going to enjoy what you do. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun? Because I had already started exploring just doing purely visual comedy. And I was interested in trying to put visual comedy through the character of Mr. Bean on TV. And so that's where it started. Well, the first ones we did were in 1988, 89, and then it sort of grew from there, and now we've got this...
Weird, it's like...
That's not a joke pitch. That's closer to an engineering problem, and he solved it by building a character almost entirely out of physical behavior, years before anyone called it Mr. Bean. There's a version of this same instinct that shows up off-camera, too, and it might be the most telling stuff here, because nobody's performing for an audience. He's just being interviewed.
It's true.
How true? I haven't.
So how was Kastrup Airport?
No, I have no stories.
No.
I'm always rather confused, as I think I know you are, about whether I'm a comedian or whether I'm an actor.
No.
Or whether I'm an
not
actor.
confused.
But you're not
all.
confused
No.
at all? Oh, well, I'll stop talking.
I know you're boring now, and I know you will consider...
What's funny isn't the story itself, it's that Atkinson tells it completely straight, like a case study, the same deadpan precision he brings to a scripted bit. He's not performing wacky celebrity anecdote, he's just accurately reporting a strange interaction, which weirdly is exactly what he says he prefers doing. He's mentioned finding it easier to be interesting than to be funny on demand, and easier to be truly funny only around close friends in small rooms, not on cue in front of a camera. Then there's the story that might be the cleanest example of how his brain edits a scene. Shooting a credit card commercial, he's supposed to look at an actress like he's falling in love with her for the first time. The director's note, imagine you're looking at your wife. His actual wife was on set. She vetoed the direction on the spot and gave him a different note instead. Look at her like she's a brand new Aston Martin.
In New York a few years ago, and it was a story in which I had to play a bungling British secret agent. And there's this beautiful woman gets out of a limo in the middle of New York, and he sees her. And this scene was when I had to look at her as if I'd just fallen in love with her. Right. And the director said, just imagine that you've just seen your wife for the first time. And my wife happened to be on set at the time. And she said, no, that won't work. Tell him to look at her as if she's his new Aston Martin. Oh, well. And then it'll work. Oh, that'll work. And she was right. It inspired me no end. I looked at her like no woman has ever been looked at.
Really? Can you give us that look? I'm curious.
Yeah.
It sounds like a throwaway anecdote, but it's basically a thesis statement for his whole style. Swap out the expected emotional target, love, romance, longing, for something absurdly literal and specific, and suddenly the moment is funnier and, by his own account, more effective. That's the same move as the airbag joke, the Bob joke, the interview answers. Take something sincere, replace it with something oddly precise, and let the audience feel the gap.
Not too funny.
Sorry. I understand everything.
I know what it's like. When you've got a difficult job. 45 miles commuting every day. Right, from...
No, I'm not interested. I'd rather go to bed with the Loch Lomond monster. And besides, I have to be back in the office on Friday. I promised Mr. Will you stop laughing.
Mrs. Baldrick, crisis! No marriage, no money, and more bills. For the first time in my life, I've decided to follow a suggestion of yours.
If I may make so bold, a major crisis has arisen in your affairs.
Yes, I know, Blackadder. I've been pondering it.
Maybe that's the real range here. Not funny faces and physical comedy as separate tricks, but one performer who can dial precision up to total stillness or down to total chaos and land the joke either way, because he understands exactly how far the gap needs to stretch before it snaps. None of this happened because someone wrote, "Insert wacky bit here." It happened because one performer kept applying the same idea, sincerity where you expect absurdity, precision where you expect looseness, to a mirror, a talk show couch, a racetrack, and a Word document with a word count. Wait, sorry, that felt like Mr. Bean over here for a second. Anyway, that's Rowan Atkinson.